Hello, the game has started. It's my opponent to go first. I've got a fantastic rack, I've got the blank, and the rest of the tiles look pretty bingo-y. So I have Relino with the blank as an L, but I expect there are quite a few sevens here. And will probably be quite a few eights. So what else do I have as a 7? Let me take this time while opponent is considering his move to squiz through the alphabet. Okay, let me pause. So firstly, does Relino play? Yes, it does, column 7. But how about the floaters? Anything beginning or ending in O? So I would have the over prefix. Not seeing anything. The F isn't particularly useful. I'll get more value by playing parallel. So Relino isn't great. It places an R in the middle of row A. So it would be nice to have a play which starts a little lower in column 7 or 9. UFO takes a B in front, but I haven't seen a 7 with a B. So I was up to C, and I'm just looking for 7s here. So that's air long. Doesn't work because of O. Doesn't work because of OL. UFO only takes an S after it. Does air long play lower down? It doesn't. So Eloina. Aha, that works. Places an E next to this double letter square. But not if I play it here. So Eloina for 68. I'm still placing a vowel next to a premium square, but the tiles higher up restrict what opponent can do in column 8. But if he has a good fit, then it's going to score well. Now, fortuitously, I've placed an E next to this triple letter square and drawn an X, so I've got Ox and X as a 50-point play, should that remain available. And opponents played, and Mex isn't good, so my number 1 choice has been scuppered. May takes nothing in front. Nothing extends ME to get doubled. So this is what I'm thinking of, box 33 points and a good rack leave. I could play Boxen, but that's only 3 more points, and I think EN helps this rack by more than 3, and opponent would benefit from the floaters. I'm going with Box. Okay, well, this looks jolly close to a bingo, but do I have one? Through an I would have Splenius. Do I have a 7? I've got the less and ness ending, but I'm not seeing a 7. Now, very few floaters, and the X isn't handy. I was about to look at these 2-letter sets, so they've been taken out. So what about UN? No, not seeing anything. Can't see anything with these 3-letter sets. Nan takes an A in front. So I can play Spun for 31 points. Good score, good rack lead. Doesn't give much away. And I'm just wondering if there are any bingo floaters or sets of floaters I should have considered and haven't, and not seeing any. There's a good 7-letter lane for bingos ending in S in row I, but I don't think I had one. I'm going with this. Wow, that is one of the best sights in Scrabble. What a beautiful rack. There's going to be 10 million bingos here. Absolute dream rack. And if the blank was almost any tile in the bag, I would still have a choice of bingos. Plus, I have a 70-point lead at the moment, so this is looking pretty good. Where are the best lanes? Well, nothing extending UFO down to the bottom. So I don't think there are any triple word squares available. What about double doubles? No. So, well, now column 12 is a good lane. Yoni takes C and S. So the play would have to start at the top, but I think this would score a lot more than any other play because Yoni would get doubled. Now these are all 1 point tiles, so it doesn't really matter what goes in this square. And there may be nothing. T doesn't go next to the O, otherwise I could have plays with OS and with ST in them. So I do have 16 minutes, so this is worth spending time on. So I would have Blaster there, but OT scuppers it. Now, what do I have here? Tar cells. I think that will do the job. Tar cells for 80. And a pretty grim pickup, but at least I do have some vowels. And I will have options for sorting this rack out. Covering the double letter square means opponent's going to struggle to score very much in the top right, regardless of what tiles he's got. And this board is suddenly looking fairly tight, apart from rows I and L. Zoo takes nothing after it, which hampers development of column 12. Now that's a scary play because Lay takes an S. There's still 2 S's to come. So, what to do? Just wondering if I have a play down onto the Y. I don't think Doughty is good. I think it's spelt I-E. Nothing I've got goes after spun. So I can do nothing about the bingo lanes on the board. My initial thought on seeing this rack was that a play of Wood, W-A-D-T, would sort out some of the rack, but I'm not seeing anywhere for that. So is there really nothing I can do with this Y? And it's less for blocking than score. If I do have a play in column 14, it's likely to be a good candidate play. So what I can do is swat, which scores okay, hampers column 15, yeah, and sorts out the duplicates. I'm going with this. Well, I have the Q, but I also have A and T for cat and cats. And I've drawn 1 S, so opponent either was sorting his rack out or has the 1 remaining S. So I can play cats. Well, no, spun doesn't take an S. It takes a K, but that may be it. So do I play cats in row I, burning this S for a low score? Is there anywhere else for it? Ah, well, there is. Retaining the S, I have cat for 24. And the S is worth retaining with row I in mind. I have a good lead, 140 points, but it's not unassailable. So I've still got this wretched V to sort out. Ah, well, opponent goes in that spot and does have the S. My rack not good enough to take advantage of these floaters, I don't think. What a shame. If opponent gets a back-to-back bingo, we could be neck and neck. So do I play Tava? Quite tempting. It gets above 20 points, so it's a half decent score, and this rack leave is good. Let me check the remaining vowels. 19 out of 44, slightly vowel dry. Let me put this back. What about a play in row H? So, do I have anything beginning with VA? Well, I have VA'd. And since I lead by 70, it's quite a good idea taking out all of these floaters, and the score's pretty good, 36 points. Wow, another dream rack. So I have Otaries and Roasty and Aureust on my rack. Do any of them play? And does Spun really only take a K? I think so. It certainly doesn't take any of the tiles I've got. And have I killed my bingo prospects by playing Vade? Any 7-letter lanes available. Zoo doesn't take anything, so not column 12. Row L, only if you've got a K, and there is one in the open. Column 1 for Stotinov. Now, what's opponent done here? A bingo would have to begin at least under Dev. Dev takes an A and an O. So, what were the 3 anagrams? Roasty. That fails under ERE. Aureust also fails. And Otaries. Yep, that doesn't work either. Do I have anything through the I? No, not that I can see. And the 2-letter sets have all been taken. Do I have anything through EW? Could begin SEW. Don't think so. Do I have anything through these 3-letter sets? Not that I can see. Wow, what a shame. This is such a good rack. Anything which goes in front of orbs. S does. So any SL plays. No, not that I can see. So what about playing down from the C? This is a really tricky rack because it is so bingo-y that I'm very reluctant to break it up, but there are so few bingo lanes that I might as well, and I've got an 80-point lead. So, wow, tempting. No S's left. So I could play Coty, stop there. Only 8 points, but I'm setting up a pretty hot spot in row O. But the danger is opponent just plays parallel to Coty and closes the gap. So I think I minded not to do that. And I'm reluctant to lose my S. It's a good tile. And I can't see anything which reaches the triple word square beginning with C. Well, Cota for 27. Annoyingly, it keeps the I, and the I is the only floater on the board. 27 points, pretty good. But I'm providing lots of useful floaters. Just don't know what to do here. This rack is so good. If I could play off maybe OI somewhere. Maybe fish for one go. Is there a way of opening a lane? 9 minutes on my clock. So what about playing OI here, setting up a lane in row M, keeping this I available, and there's only one L to come, and OI does take an S. So I think this is a good play. And although OI also takes a K, I'm taking out the spun hook for the K. I am going with this. I draw the K, of course. So, what do I have? I have retakes and oik. So at the moment, I do have a playable bingo. What about the I? This rack plus an I, reekiest, not good. There could be one here. I think Saccharet might also be a 7. So I'm just wondering about row K, in case row M is blocked. And also I may have cakers, I'm not totally sure about that. Still looking at this I to see if I have an 8. But I'm not saying it. Opponent's in a tricky spot because he's a bingo behind. Well, he's just played, which means I am bingoing. I've got retakes and oik. Is there anything better? Do I have something? Is retakers good? I don't think so. But is it? Could it just be streaker or also retaker? I don't know. So, but what I do have is retakes for 81. Not great, but not terrible. At least I have a mixture of vowels and consonants, so I should be able to score, and I've got a good lead, and we are approaching the end of the game. Now I have drug in column 8 and prog. And opponent's gone, he's resigned. And the final score, 262 for my opponent, 384 for me, a winning margin of 122 points, so a huge, huge win. Let's see what I missed. Okay, and connection is back, history is back. Let's see what I missed. So it was opponent to go first, no bingo, plays UFO. And here we go, B9, Eloina, that was my play, 7G Eloina, that was the move I rejected. And then just lower scoring alternative plays. So nothing obviously better. Opponent's rack, and this was the one he spent an eternity with and played May in the end. There were no bingos, maybe he felt there was one. Now box N, I preferred box, only 2 fewer points and a much better rack leave. Opponent's rack looks close to a bingo, doesn't have one, plays Nan. Phew, no missed bingo here, and spun. H11, that was my play, and that put me into a lead. Opponent plays IO, and here we go, simply a ton of bingos. What do? I play tarsals for 80, and all that was better was tarsil in the same spot, or tarsals with an S, of course. Okay, so just 2 points dropped there. Opponent's rack. And this is where opponent played LEY, and he did have the S. So G12, SWAT, that was my play. And this was opponent's rack. And he plays Tiz for 36. I was just wondering what he could have done if I hadn't obstructed lays, but nothing leapt to mind. So I have cat at the top for 24, hanging on to the S. And now, opponent has gerbils, which was a great spot, and provides a ton of floaters, but I couldn't see a bingo, there wasn't one. H1 Vade, that was my play. And now, opponent's rack, which isn't too bad, but no bingo, plays Cave. Phew, nothing missed here. I thought about Kota, and didn't like wrecking the rack and retaining an I, with an I being the only floater, so I played OI, and this isn't about score and rack leave, although score and rack leave will account for most of this difference because I'm retaining a monster. I'm retaining Asta. Let me go back. I'm retaining Asta, which must be worth about 40 points, so I like my play. Now, opponent's rack plays Coair, which was a great spot, and retakers was good. Okay, so a word learnt, 89 points. Instead I played retakes for 81, and this was opponent's rack. He couldn't take it. He couldn't take it anymore. He trails by over 100. He's simply got misery to face for the rest of the game, and he couldn't take it. So that was the end of the game. He resigned, he left, and I won by over 100. So what a game. Great to be back to winning ways, and great to smash through the 1700 rating barrier from the right side, and to be back in the driving seat. So all good fun. Many thanks to my opponent for a good game. I hope you enjoyed watching that game, and I will see you next time.